So let's take a look at this scatter plot. Whenever you're given a graph, you always want to figure out what the axes are representing. And when it's a scatter plot, you also want to think about what each dot represents. So I can see on my horizontal axis, I'm getting information about area in square feet, and it's ranging from 500 square feet up to 3,500 square feet. And then on my vertical axis, I'm getting information about acreage. So from 0 acres up to 4 acres. There's not a lot of information to go on here to figure out what each of these individual dots is representing, but my guess is it's a house. So for example, this dot right here, I can see it's a pretty big house, almost 3,000 square feet in area, and it's sitting on a plot of land that's just under 2 acres. Okay, and what is the general trend happening here? Well, it's a pretty weak trend, but in general, I can see that as my area in square feet of the home is increasing, the acreage of the land it's sitting on is also increasing. But it's not a very strong relationship, right? But in general, let's see what's happening here. Okay, so for example, let's say a home is 1,000 square feet. Okay, all of these dots represent homes that are close to 1,000 square feet. And I can see that those homes are, a little bit more than 0 acres, all the way up to 2 acres. Okay, so it's a big range. It's a huge range of acreage for those homes. But if I increase the square footage of the home, all of these dots are close to 2,000 square feet. I can see that the acreage increased a little bit. So now it's going from like half an acre up to 2.5 acres. And if I increase even more, maybe to 3,000 square feet, so these homes are close to 3,000 square feet, the acreage goes up even more to just under 2 acres to about 3.5 acres. So the general trend happening here, it's pretty weak, but the general trend is positive. It's a linear and it's positive. So positive means the variables are changing the same way. So as square footage of the home increases, the plot of land in acres that the house is sitting on is also getting larger. So I would say this is linear. Doesn't make a perfect straight line at all by any means, but that's the trend happening here. And I would say it's a weak positive trend. Okay, so if I was going to write a sentence to describe the relationship this graph is showing me, I would say as the area of a house increases, so that's the square feet, the size of the land the house sits on in acres also tends to increase. But the relationship between the area and the acreage is pretty weak. I mean, there's a general trend, but just knowing the square footage of the house isn't a great predictor of the acreage.